Hello, my lovelies. This is Candy Cyanide. Welcome back to my channel. This is a Cyanide for Life update. I hope you all are doing well. I'm sorry things have not been consistent. I've literally actually recorded one of these for literally every week in February, and I just haven't uploaded or edited or anything just because I've been so exhausted and sick and everything. But I'm gonna try to condense everything down as much as I can. Um, First things first, I did start a new job late last month, and it's been going all right. Is it my favorite thing in the world? No, but now that I'm getting the hang of things, it is a lot better because at first I was very, very down on myself because I just wasn't. Honestly, it's because I wasn't perfect immediately, and like it just made me so nervous to the point that I was like, they're gonna say, okay, she's not getting it, get rid of her. Even though, like, ever since I started working, all the management and all the like old management, there's a lot of old managers there that stepped down. All of them have been raving about me, and even the store managers will come by and they'll rave about me and say what a good job I'm doing. But still, in my mind, because I'm not perfect, I'm just like, uh, this is, I'm terrible, I'm gonna get fired and all this, that, and the other. But now that I've kind of picked up a lot of the stuff, because the department I have just has a lot going on in it, so I don't even know why I was jumping on my back as much as I was, but that's just me. But now that I've picked up a lot of it, things are like evening out. It's a lot better. So, yeah, it's going pretty great. Like, even one of the older employees was like, we had a heart to heart one day, and she was just like, Candy, basically, I said, if they get rid of you, then I'm quitting. So, clearly, I'm doing a good enough job. So, yeah. Um, Secondly, I would like to apologize for the lack of videos. For one, I've just been with everything going on, just been so stressed and so depressed and so just like, out of it. I haven't really had a creative drive to do anything. And so that's been a big, big part of, well, not a big, big part. That has been a big part, though. I'll say it's been a big part. It's been a big part of why I haven't really done any videos. But the biggest of it is simply because, one, usually when I do videos, I do them when I'm home alone. And that's because just kind of a stage fright type thing. Like, I know it seems silly since I'm posting this on the internet, and literally anyone who goes to my page can hear it. But it's like when I'm recording and there's someone in the house and there's a possibility that they can hear me, it just kind of gets into my head to where, I don't know, I guess I kind of freak out about it a little bit. And I just call it stage fright because even when I was doing like dance and choir and I was acting and everything, I would be fine until the moment I got on stage and I saw that there were people actually looking at me. Like, if it was a big stage, like a big auditorium with like really dim lights to where I couldn't see anyone's face, then I was fine. Even though I knew they were there, I was fine. But if it was like a small area or a well lit area and I could see people actually staring at me, then I would actually just freeze up. And you think I would be over it because I've had like, oh my gosh, what, 5 years of stage experience. But that's just something that just kind of never went away. And it's the same thing kind of with YouTube. It's the same concept. And at one point, I worked up the nerve when I first moved. I worked up the nerve to like start recording, and I did a video, and I was really into it, and I think it was going well. And then my roommate knocked on my door in the middle of me recording, and that just kind of brought back that stage fright thing. And just like, what am I trying to say? It kind of killed my nerve to do it. and that's a big part of why I haven't. Another really big part, and this is probably the biggest part, is that the place where I stay still isn't very optimal for recording. Like, my room is right by a window and is right by the street. And I am not kidding that every time I sit down to my computer and I get everything set up, the moment I hit record and say 2 words, it's like an episode of Wacky Races is taking place outside of that window. And oh my gosh, I'm not even kidding. It's like cars non-stop while I'm recording. And not even like just them easing past, they'll like zoom past with very, very loud engines. And then, my neighbors will pull up and they'll be very loud. And then somebody will be like just blasting music. And it's just so much to the point where it makes recording impossible. And that is honestly the biggest reason that I haven't been recording. And I know, like, some people may say it doesn't matter and everything. Like, my videos are not exactly professional quality anyway. But at the same time, I don't want to be recording and you guys hear nothing but, like, cars in the background. So I apologize for that. I do want to get back into recording, and I'm going to try to, like, get over that stage frightness and just, do it, especially since my roommate is not in the living room as much. That's another thing. My roommate used to be in the living room constantly, and so my room is also like 6 feet away from the living room, and his TV is like, right up against my wall. So it's just been a lot. It's just not an optimal recording place. But I am going to try my best to just kind of push through all of that and get some videos out. Um, but like I said, a good bit of it too is just, feeling lack of creativity, feeling lack of motivation. Like, I'm going through a very, very, very bad depressive episode. It like hit a head yesterday to where I almost called out of work. Granted, I was also in just like a terrible amount of pain, and I took a lot of medication and it wasn't doing anything because I think I've mentioned this before, but in addition to my IBS, I have this thing with my trigeminal nerve. It may be trigeminal neuralgia, but I haven't been officially diagnosed. It also may be TMJ, but again, haven't been officially diagnosed because I haven't really had health insurance or anything. And like back when it first started, I didn't have a good doctor. So there's that. But it basically it's like I'll get a pain in my trigeminal nerves. It'll feel like a toothache at first, but then it'll just gradually grow, and I can kind of feel it in each of my trigeminal like nerve points. And it's the absolute worst pain imaginable, and it's so intense and it's ever going. It doesn't ease up at all, and if I don't take anything, it'll just be there, and it'll be so bad to the point where I literally can't do anything. Like, I won't be able to watch TV, I won't be able to have any lights on, I can't have a fan on, I can't have any air blowing. That'll irritate it. Like, I was laying on my back because I also have back issues. I was laying on my back, and then like laying on the back of my head made it more intense. And then, just laying my hand on my face, like not even pressing it on there, just laying it on my face, it makes it intensifies. It is that bad. It's so bad. But that started back up, and I had to take a lot of medication just to even get it manageable. And so I was kind of out of it. I didn't sleep that night too because I've been having sleep issues. It had got better for a couple of days, but now it's back out of whack a little bit. But that night I hadn't really slept at all. It was like I would it was like every time I fall asleep, I would wake up in a panic and just like feeling like I couldn't breathe and like thinking like crazy thoughts like I'm gonna die, like my brain is like shutting down and my brain is being eaten away. It's just a bunch of craziness. I was so delirious. And so I woke up on that, and then, all the stuff in the world was getting me down. The stuff with my family was getting me down. In addition to already feeling depressed, and then just being in pain on top of that, and just feeling just so, so tired of being in pain. Like, guys, I can't even explain how tired I am of just being in pain all the time. Like, my IBS, like, I've spoken about it before, I think a little bit, to where it's been so constant in my life to where I can just kind of tune it out. But at the same time, it is still there. And it's like when I go to sleep, the first thing that my mind registers, the very first thing that I register when I wake up is pain. And like not a small amount of pain. It's tolerable to me because I've just kind of dealt with it for so long, but it's no small amount of pain. Make no mistake. And like I said, I deal with it well, and it's kind of a double-edged sword because I don't think people actually realize the amount of pain that I am in every single day. And that just is, it's been wearing on me lately. And then in addition to like, just life woes and financial woes. And I'm just like, what is the point of it all? Like, why am I still here? Why am I trudging through the way that I am? I know people keep saying things will get better, but I just kind of know that they're not. Like, it's going to take some miracle for things to improve drastically to the point where life isn't constantly getting me down. And it has nothing to do with like me not trying hard enough, because God knows that I have been trying for so long, and so is my family. It's just, the cards that I've been dealt, being, a minority and being born in poverty, and not getting all of those like opportunities. Those opportunities don't really come by as much as people would like to believe. So yeah, it's just been all of that, and I'm just like, why am I here? What am I doing? And just thinking about how empathetic I am and like sensitive I am to all the world's problems and everything, and how I'm the type of person where like I don't pay attention to politics. I stopped reading the news and everything. Like, if it weren't for Twitter, I probably wouldn't know about the Ukraine thing going on. And that's very much on purpose, and it's because ever since I was a kid, I've literally just cared about everyone and everything, always, all the time. And this is not like me trying to brag and, humble brag, hashtag humble brag, or whatever the fuck the internet says. This is just me being real. When I was still Christian, I would literally go on my knees and just, when I was saying my prayers, I would pray for literally the entire world. Just like, God, heal everyone in the world, make all the homeless not homeless, and, fix all the world's problems. And I wasn't even as aware of everything as I was always very aware of the world had problems, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't as widespread, because I didn't have internet back then. I had a very small scope. But even that scope was like, wow, things are, pretty terrible for a lot of people. And so that would weigh heavily on me, and so I would just like to pray that away. And I always used to wish I was rich, so I could, just hand out money to people who needed it, and just like crazy stuff like that. Now, I'm not trying to like humble brag or whatever the frick. I'm just being like real for a moment. So I've always been very empathetic to people as well, and like even someone who, like the person who ended up attacking me, even though I knew she was full of shit, she was like giving a sob story, and that still like, made me feel bad and made me reconsider. And it's just a bunch of stuff. And it's like, if I think too much about the world's problems and about politics and all of that stuff, all this stuff is above me and I know there's nothing I can do about it. And if I think about that too much and I dwell on that too much, I will literally kill myself. Like, there have been nights where I would just lay in my bed thinking about all the world's problems and everything and literally just sobbing and sobbing and wanting to swallow a bottle of pills. So yeah, it all that stuff affects me really badly. And like, I saw this thing on Twitter one time and it was like, oh, if you're one of those people who say you don't care about politics or you don't pay attention to politics, well, it's because you're so privileged that politics doesn't affect you. And it's like, no, sis, it's because politics are terrible and I know there's nothing I can do about it. And if I think about that too much, then I will spiral into a suicidal depression. But, go off. But anyway, yeah, I've been thinking about that and just like my disabilities and everything. And that's another thing. I've finally just accepted the fact that, yes, I am quite disabled. And starting this new job has really made me realize that. Like I always knew it, but I've always been hesitant to call myself disabled. And don't get me wrong, it's not because of any negative connotations towards disabled people, because that's all bullshit. It's because, like, I grew up in, like, the mental health system. My mom was always, in the mental health system and in, like, drug support treatments and all of that type of stuff. So I've seen a lot of shit growing up, and I've seen a lot of different people, and I've seen a lot of very disabled people, and I've always not wanted to call myself disabled because I know that there are so many people who have it so much worse. And it's like, I can get up and I can work a little bit and everything, so, do I have the right to call myself disabled? It was more that type of thing. But I finally, just really accepted that, like, yeah, I'm disabled, and that's okay. But I've just been thinking about that, and starting this new job. I love the job and everything, but it I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot on me. It's a lot on my body. It's very taxing. There are days when I go in and I can literally barely stand up, and I have to, run around and do this, that, and the other, and, smile and, be pleasant and everything. And it's just really, really hard, and it's really, really taxing. And it's really made me realize that, if I'm being honest, I'm not cut out to work full time. I'm really not. And before, if any random people come for me saying, like, oh, you're just being lazy, blah, 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 I would like to tell people, like I said, not only am I one of the best workers, like, immediately now, to where everybody is commenting on what a good job I'm doing and what a good work ethic I have. I'm sorry if my voice is cracking. This is going to be a very deep one, I guess. But I have worked 2 jobs while sick. By the way, all of this stuff I'm about to say, I've done while sick, while depressed, while not getting any sleep, and so being half delirious and exhausted and having fatigue syndromes and everything. I've worked 2 jobs to where I was working, sometimes 22 hours a day. I was getting maybe 4 hours of sleep in between. Sometimes I would go to one job, have maybe an hour or two in between, go to the next job, and then immediately go back to the other job. By the way, these were very active jobs. Like, these were not sit down jobs. These are not desk jobs. These were jobs where I had to run around all day, every day. And I did not take breaks on them. And then even my last job, I didn't take breaks on that one, and I would work on average 10 hours a day. And even one day, I came in at like 9, and then I didn't leave until 11 p.m. Like 9 that morning. which I got called in early and did not leave until 11 p.m. So suffice it to say, your girl is not lazy. And I'm saying that to myself too, because that's something I've always struggled with as well. With as many chronic illnesses as I have, plus, like my narcolepsy, in addition to insomnia, and then the depression on top of that, a lot of times, like, especially on my days off, I just don't feel like doing anything. And I've struggled with this idea of, like, you're just being lazy and this, that, and the other. And, like, I'm finally just accepting, like, no, you're not lazy. Like, you're disabled and you're doing a lot. So, yeah, it's just, like I said, I've had kind of epiphanies over this month about that. And then, just like, again, with how empathetic I am to the world and everything. Like, if I don't shut it out, then I'm gonna feel it all. And it's just really made me think, like, with everything, with my life situation, with my family, with my personality, with my disabilities, it's like, I don't think, not I don't think, like, literally, I'm not capable of living in this world. And that's what I'm really feeling right now. Like, I've felt it before on multiple occasions. Like, that reality has hit me multiple times. And I guess this is just another period where it's hitting me, where it's like, yeah, you really don't belong in this world and in this life. Like, this world is not designed for people like you. And so that's just really been that's really been hitting me hard lately, and it hit me especially hard yesterday, to where my depression is just like off the charts. And so, yeah, just kind of dealing with that. And let me let my voice clear out for a minute. Sorry for this is going on for so long. I wasn't expecting to go this deep in this video and be this vulnerable and everything. And it's like, it's not that I don't mind being vulnerable, it's just I don't like going too deep into my depression and into my depressive thoughts, for multiple reasons. For one, I just hate being that downer person, and that's another reason why my posting has gone a little bit less on Twitter. And even, like, just personally with my friends, I've stopped talking to them about this type of stuff, except every now and then I'll just post to a random board, like in our group Discord. I made a group specifically called Shout to the Void, and it's specifically like for rants or whatever. That way I can stop, like, going directly to my friends about, like, my issues, because I know that they don't mind, and I know that they more or less understand, like, that I deal with depression and everything. But it's for the simple fact that, like, they've known me for a decade, and I've been depressed that whole decade, and my life has just been in shambles that whole decade. And, like, I remember one time, something that always sticks with me is one time one of my best friends, like, came to me, and he was like, we were just talking, and he asked me if I was doing all right. And at the time, I was okay, so I was like, yeah. He was like, okay, I'm just checking. You always seem like you have a lot going on. And he didn't mean it any type of way. He was just, like, being truthful. I do always have shit going on. But it just kind of sticks with me as, like, I'm always that person that's in misery, and every time you talk to me, I'm in misery. And so I don't want to be that person. I don't want to, like, dampen everyone's day every time I talk to them. And that's, I think that's a big reason too why I isolate, in addition to just being an introvert. I think it's a big reason I stay to myself, especially, like, when I'm in a depressive mood. I like to stick to myself and try to bring myself out of it as much as possible. And, like, being around friends doesn't always, help that. And so if I have to be around friends while I'm depressed, and, I'm so depressed to the point where being around them doesn't help. I don't want to dampen the mood. You know what I mean? And then too, it's like I was I was headed to a point there, I swear. Oh yeah, just emotionally unloading on people all the time can be very taxing. So I try not to go directly to my friends with my problems. Again, just because I've done so for so long, to the point where I feel like even if they don't consciously feel that way, that it will seem like it's just kind of, the same old story, like to where it has zero impact. And again, that's not to say anything on them. It's just because I've been in this state for so long, I've had, suicidal moments for so long that it seems like almost like the girl who cried wolf, you know what I mean? And I could be like way off on that. And but that's just how I feel and why I don't talk to my friends as much as I used to anymore, and same with like Twitter and everything, because I don't want, my page to just be miserable all the time. I want, in especially my channel as well, I don't want that to be just pure misery. I want to do other stuff like gaming, stuff to, make people feel good or whatever. And I had another point I was gonna make on that, but I just kind of lost it. I'm sorry, I'm still very tired, but I don't know. I've pretty much said everything that I want to right now. Like, there were other stuff I wanted to talk about, obviously, but I just, this video is already super long, and I'm gonna be honest, my brain just kind of shut down. I think I've just talked to the point, and I got so emotional. That's another thing. When I get super emotional to the point where I'm like crying and stuff, immediately after I just feel exhausted. I know everybody says like, they feel good after a good cry. I don't necessarily. I just feel exhausted and numb. And that's kind of how I feel right now after, just talking. But I am glad to get it out and kind of get my thoughts out and everything. And like I said, I did start this channel in addition to like all the gaming and stuff. I also wanted it to be a very open picture on like depression and everything, and like kind of the thought process that people with mental illnesses go through, to the point where, maybe, it'll touch somebody. Well, not touch somebody, but it'll it'll plant a seed in someone's head to where they start to understand it a bit better. Maybe. I don't know. I probably am not doing a very good job of that. So, but in any case, I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are having a good year so far. Be safe and be kind to yourself and others, especially like if you're near one of the problem countries right now. And even if you're not, just be safe and be kind to yourself and others. Remember that we're all human. Like, we all have shit we're going through. You never know what someone's going through, on the outside. Like, people you just meet on the street, in the store, and everything. You never know what people are going through. So just always be kind. And also be gentle with yourself, because I know that we are sometimes our worst enemies. I know I am. But anyway, be safe, be kind. I've said that a lot. I don't know why I'm so bad with outros, even though I do the same one each and every time. But I will see you all in the next video. I appreciate you listening. And yeah, love you. Bye.